Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Talkin Joe's podcast alongside Josh Stanley. I'm Ethan Herzog, and it was a good weekend. It's been a good couple of weeks for the Joes, more or less. The Joes are now in second place in the South Division. They're in prime positioning to be in the neck and neck of the playoff race as they look to be the second seed in that. The playoffs start later in the month. We'll get to that more later on, but it was a big series against the South Ohio Copperheads. They took two games out of the three. They would lose in the game, which was yesterday, from when we're recording this, July 3rd, 9-5. But other than that, I mean, they were completely dominating the Copperheads in very, very strong fashion.
Yeah, they had the Copperheads outmatched both games. Both games easily could have ended in a run rule, but Copperheads were lurking in late innings and got a couple extra runs, as the Joes weren't able to quite put them out of reach.
And you can see that too in just how the game ended as well yesterday with that 9-5 win. They've been lurking. They're last place in the entire league. And I mean, they're looking to steal wins when they can, and they did just that. But the Joes now are 11-10. They are still a game above 500 and chasing that prime positioning for the playoffs where, they could play anybody as the season still has plenty of time left in it. But at this current moment, if they were to make the playoffs today, if the season ended today, they will be playing the Grand Lake Mariners in a 3-game series, which would be a rematch of the first series of the season.
And I think it's a little bit interesting because they'll get to see each other for 3 games beforehand. If the standings were to hold true, because that's the last 3 games of the year for the regular season. So it would be more or less a 7-game series.
Now
And
the
3-game feeler.
Now the playoff format looks a little bit like this. The first playoff series is the best of three, and will start on Monday, July 27th. The highest seed hosts games 2 and 3, and if the travel is greater, there's a bunch of greater than 240 miles. There's a bunch of stipulations on the travel day and all that stuff. But the championship series will be starting on Wednesday, July 29th, and end as late as Friday, July 31st. The highest seed will host games 2 and 3, and last year the Joes were a game shy of taking the championship um, against the Lima Locos, and the seeding goes a little bit like something like the first place team and the second place team in each division. So again, revisiting the if the season ended today conversation, Lima would be the number 1 seed in the North, Flag City would be the number 2 seed in the North, then Grand Lake, then Hamilton in that order as well. So there is a possibility of a championship rematch from last year, and that would be probably one of the biggest storylines heading into the end of the season if all stars aligned for the Joes in that way.
It'll certainly be a big test with Lima being still red hot even after the Joes were able to take the last game of the set with them, and then the Joes will see them next week as well.
We'll see them next week, and that's also a doubleheader day too on that Wednesday. There'll be 2 games, very very long day for us, and a long day for everybody involved. Hopefully,
Ooh.
the heat decides to die down as well.
What I just realized is that it's a doubleheader at Lima on Tuesday, and then our game on Wednesday is a doubleheader at Foundation Field.
So that's 4 games in almost less than 24 hours for all involved. So I mean, it's going to be a very interesting day uh, for the players. More likely for over that 24 to 36-hour stretch where you've got 4 games and you're going to have to really figure out a way to manage your bullpen and whoever is going to be playing in the field that day as well. Because I mean, we've had, especially with the Heat yesterday, there were, I think the Joes went through what, like 4 or 5 pitchers throughout the course of that game, I think.
I will double check you, but I believe it
So
was 5 to 6, and we saw
it,
very early on the Heat was a factor with Alex Gay only being able to face 2 batters before
yeah,
just
and he did. I don't
heat
even
stroke
think he.
just engulfed him.
Yeah, I don't even think he made it through the second batter. I think he maybe got pulled right then and there throughout the middle of that second at bat because he ended up suffering from a little bit of heat sickness and had to be pulled. And he, I think, spent the remainder of the game in the dugout and the bullpen just trying to, sip on some Gatorade and get himself back to where he should be. So hopefully he's doing all right. and we'll get to see more of him later on. But still, this heat wave isn't quite over. I mean, it's 95 today. It's going to be 95 tomorrow. It's going to be 95 the next day. It's going to be 95 until the cows come home, apparently, because we're in a massive amount of suffering if you live in the Midwest as a whole. It's not even just Cincinnati. It's not even just Hamilton. It's the entire Midwest. They're all dealing with lots and lots of heat, and it's not a very pleasant experience for anybody involved, whether it be a player, a coach, a fan, or any of us that are in the booth, outside of the booth working at Foundation Field. But it's going to be a lot of managing, and especially over those 4 games, you're going to have to really keep your guys in check. You're going to have to really make sure that you are on the ball on who's in, who's out, when is everybody switching, who's needs to be substituted in for, and a lot of it has been, the players will talk to Coach Davis Schaefer and be like, "Hey, I'm in, pull me now, pull me later," like that kind of thing. So it's a lot of open communication as well, which as it should be. And I mean, you don't want to have your guys go out there and then pass out in the middle of the ball game and, cause issues for mainly just the players involved.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very difficult stretch coming up since we are now entering the dog days of summer. I think the weather is also just regardless of the heat. I think rain's also going to be a factor at least in the next couple of weeks because we've experienced quite a bit of a drought so far this week. I have
Yeah.
yet to check the weather of next week, but I can't imagine it's still going to be not raining. Um, Luckily for the Joes, only have 3 total days at home next week, being Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Then you'll have 2 days off before a giant road trip to Michigan.
So the weather patterns I'm seeing, I just looked it up. Uh, Tonight, this is being recorded. There's isolated thunderstorms, so congratulations to everybody here. High of 97. Wednesday, the day of the second doubleheader between the Joes and the Locos, it's 86 degrees, 24% chance of rain. Thursday is a 46% chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon with an 86-degree high. Friday is 62% chance of thunderstorms with an 83-degree high, and Saturday is a 60% chance of thunderstorms all day with an 83-degree high. So, I mean, we're looking at a chance of weather all over the place, and it's not going to be pretty, especially because the weekend after the doubleheader with the Locos is 3 straight games against the Clippers, and Saturday being a doubleheader.
Again, so this weather's still far out. Things are definitely going to change.
Absolutely.
If you've learned anything about the Midwest, the weather's the weather until it's not.
Yeah, pretty much. That it's really not fun. It's not fun at all. And then looking after the Clippers, the Michigan Monarchs will be hosting the Joes for what I believe is 5 straight games after a game got rescheduled for a doubleheader. So the Joes will be in Michigan for
I believe the
four
entire
games in
week.
total. I believe so too. I believe because then the 9 inning game was rescheduled from 6:17 is on the 16th of July at 5:05 p.m. at Southgate High School, and then the Joes come back, play the Scouts for one, and then they end the season against the Grand Lake Mariners. Well, in the regular season, that is, and still have the chance to make the playoffs, assuming that the Xenia Scouts and the Copperheads do not go on a miraculous run, and the Joes keep holding their own in the rest of the season.
And if we take a look at the immediate schedule over here on the right side of the screen, you will see that we will be playing the top 2 seeds in the north, being Flag City in the 2 seed, and Lima in the 1 seed. So it'll be a very difficult stretch here for the Joes as they try and stay course and stay above 500 and try and track down Grand Lake.
The Joes are, in fact, 2-1 against Flag City so far this season. They're 1-2 against Lima, or excuse me, they're currently 1-1 against Lima, considering that the third game of the series for the home series was postponed. It would be the away game on July 25th, and meaning the doubleheader is coming up next week, which is going to be big. I mean, those are must-win games for the Joes, and it's gonna feel that way too. It's a doubleheader game, both 7 innings. First pitch is at 5:05 p.m. on Wednesday the 8th for the Joes and the Locos. Sorry, my brain just completely shut off, and the Heat's even getting to us right now. It's fine, but it's must win time. It's must win time. Very much crunch time for the Joes, and very much crunch time just in the entirety of the Great Lakes Summer Collegiate League.
I think this series is very important because you still have the scouts. They're still there. They're still lurking behind you, as they're only 3 wins behind you. Granted, they've played 3 more games than us. So I'm not sure how many games back exactly that would be if you're missing 3 games and up by 3 games. So I'm just gonna call it 4.5. And you still have to play the scouts one more time this year. And again, if they're anywhere close to you, have to win that series.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's coming down to the wire, and it may just be the first week of July, but still, it's a short season, so there's going to be games happening left, right, and center for the remainder of the season. And today, on this Friday, the Joes will be taking on the Flag City Sluggers at Marathon Diamonds, up at the home of the Flag City Sluggers. That's tonight at 6:05 on Flow Sports. And then game 2 of the series is on the 4th of July, tomorrow. And then the final game is back in Hamilton with a, I believe, 6:05 first pitch. Excuse me, no, 7:05 first pitch at Foundation Field on Sunday, July 5th. But I think that is about all I have, Josh. I don't know if you have anything else.
Do you have any plans for tomorrow? Any
Sleeping.
festivities?
Sleeping, drinking in my air-conditioned house
Mm.
because it's way too hot for any of that. I might try and watch some fireworks on a live stream or something, but it's too hot. I I will be drinking in my air-conditioned house.
I don't know exactly where I'm going, but there's a good chance we'll be having a good time watching fireworks.
There you go.
It'll be in the middle of the boonies, but
Just make sure
we'll
hydrated.
be safe.
Yeah, God, don't blow any fingers off, and that goes for anybody out there. Don't blow any fingers off. We want to make sure that you'll be able to type on your phones correctly as we keep going on here. But that wraps it up for this week's edition of Talkin' Joe's podcast alongside Josh Stanley. I'm Ethan Herzog. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode, and we'll see you on Sunday as the Hamilton Joes take on the Flag City Sluggers.